Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another one of our Facebook Live sessions with our foster care program, one of our many family of services here at the Children's Shelter. And today's Facebook session is our usual weekly lunch with Lishia. How you doing, Lishia? And today we
Hello.
have a very special guest. We have Mr. Nicholas Cunningham. He is one of our foster parents, part of our foster care program here at the Children's Shelter. And before we get started today, I do want to just talk about a few things as usual. We have Foster Care Awareness Month, hashtag Foster Care Awareness Month. And at the same time, May is also hashtag Mental Health Awareness Month. I know that you guys have been using that hashtag out there, and thank you for sharing the information that we put out on our Facebook and our Twitter and our Instagram pages as well. And so, just to let you all know out there that we are still going to continue our foster care sessions at some point, but for this month, this is our last session for the month, and we will continue also on Friday with our Hope Center. We will have our Hope Center staff talking a little bit more about the service and the work in the community for Mental Health Awareness Month. And then we will continue this summer. I will probably come back and continue doing a summer reading session and some creative art projects as well during the summer for our families out there. But other than that, again, my name is Ernesto Olivo, and I'm the social media and art and activities coordinator. And it's always great to be here. And thank you guys both for being here today. And so, yeah, today we're going to just touch up a little bit about our foster care program. Lishia, do you want to just, in a nutshell, give us some information about that?
Sure. So, hi. Thank you for joining us for lunch with Lishia. So I am the foster parent recruiter for the Children's Shelter. And if you are interested, if you know anyone that's interested, please feel free. You can log on to our website. You can call here at the shelter, and they can connect you to myself. Today, we actually have joining us one of our foster parents, Mr. Cunningham. I too share a very similar passion with Mr. Cunningham, so it's a great pleasure to have him here, as myself being a former foster to adopt parent as well. So I'm just excited to have him here today, and I can't wait to hear what he has to share with us.
Great. So, Mr. Cunningham, first of all, again, thank you and welcome and thank you for being here with us again. We really appreciate that. And so, yeah, just wanted to start our conversation. I know that we are in dire need of foster families more than ever. I know that there's been a lot of talk and conversation, just not in our community, but statewide. And I do a lot of research on foster care, at a national level, and I like to see what's going on. And I get on our social media, and I know that right now more than ever, that back to the dire need for foster families. So I again thank you for the service that you are providing to the children. And so, yeah, we'll just start on that, and on maybe you can share how you became a foster parent, and what motivated you to do that.
Yes, sir. And again, thank you for having me on here. My wife and I got into foster care 2 years ago. We've always wanted to adopt children in need and help a community out as much as we can. I actually got stationed out here 4 years ago. I just got out to continue what I do out here. And while we were here, we decided to go in and foster from 0 to 6. We were trying to adopt, and we got it licensed, and we actually ended up getting a phone call to do respite for a 13-year-old boy. And we were like, oh my goodness. And it was amazing. It really opened the door that every kid, not even just that 0 to 6 that we were originally trying to go assist and help. We thought that would be our best, our best capability, right? And really showed us that every child out there needs somebody to lean on and help guide them. They're struggling right now, trying to get their feet back on the ground.
Wow. And so I was going to go into the age group question, but I know that you mentioned it that you had originally uh, were focusing on 0 to 6, and somehow you ended up with a 13-year-old. So how many children have you worked with, or have you been a foster parent for?
So we have fostered eight children. We've done for a couple families, and we've adopted 2 already, and we actually finalized adoption on 3 more beginning of next month.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wow, that's so great. And are they all age?
So I have a 9-year-old boy whom I adopted, a 7-year-old girl we're in the process of adopting, a 5-year-old boy in the process of adopting, a 4-year-old girl in the process of adopting, and a 4-year-old girl that I adopted. The 2
Wow.
girls are 4 months apart.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Wow, that's really really great. And well, and so so maybe this is a conversation, and it's inevitable, right? Because being a foster parent, it's not just at a snap. It does take some time. It is a
Yes.
process, and I'm sure there's some challenges in the beginning. What do you remember? What your first experience was like?
So a lot of it's nerves, on the foster parent and on the children. When they first come into your home, somebody shows up at the door and tries to make it as easy as possible. But it's children going to a strange home with somebody they don't know, and they're nervous, and you're nervous, trying to make sure that you can give them the best, the best while they're with you. Yeah.
Wow. And so you were licensed through the children's shelter, right? You
Yes.
came to, and so what are do you feel that that you were provided with the resources and the support that you needed?
Yes, the children's shelter has been amazing, and I've loved my entire experience with them. Um, there was times where we thought, when we first were going through the training, we're like, oh my goodness, are we ready for this? But the training really was really helpful and really helped put our minds at ease, once we got into it.
That's great. That's really great. And so, um, if anyone's interested in fostering a child or a group of children, like in your case, a group of children, um, what are the first steps one should take if they are interested in doing something like this?
Well, what we've seen works amazing on all the children that entered our home is, come up with unique rituals, or habits, right? So one of the things that we've done is, for the children that come to our home, we come up with a little motto that makes me look silly, but they love it, and it's something that they haven't experienced before, so they can get behind that, because they don't want to replace what they've already experienced from their parents, right? That's something that's going to build upon as you grow. So you need something fresh and new. So what we do is we go, I am strong. I am brave. I am cute. I am smart. I am, and then their name, and they absolutely love it because I look like a big goof, and um, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
That's great. That's really, really great. And so we know that, again, I can't thank you enough for the work and the service. And you're going from foster to adoption, which is
Thank
incredible. But for a lot of foster parents out there, who maybe that's not an option, just being able to be a part of a child's life, to offer stability and some sort of comfort in a loving environment, is enough for the community out there, for whoever's watching or is interested. And I know there's some stigmas always behind, not just obviously foster care, but there's just across the board and many other things as well. But what are some things that you could maybe put out there, like some words of advice, maybe to encourage, or maybe things that you might think people might feel a little discouraged by, in
Well,
taking that step?
a lot of the time, people, at least myself, we were nervous if we were ready enough, if we were prepared enough, and um, I'll tell you, yes, you are. If you got it, these children, all they really need and want is love and attention and guidance, right? Um, they don't need you to be perfect. Ain't nobody is. So you come with your own quirks, and so do they, and your quirks all mushed together, and it makes a really unique family and really unique experience.
That's great. That's great. So I'm really glad that you've had such a positive experience, and like I said, obviously leading to adoption. I know that, and we talking about earlier how there's a really big need right now for foster parents and foster families, and we do provide our foster care program does provide the training and the licensing in therapeutic foster care. I know that right now there's a large percentage of high acuity children out there, and a lot of them have they require like a higher level of services, right? They, a lot, there's a lot of emotional disturbances. There's primary medical needs, unfortunately, intellectual or developmental disabilities, which can obviously fall under like autism, bipolar disorder, diabetes, behavioral issues. Do you think that some of those challenges have, crossed your path in what you've experienced, or is there anything that you want to, again, share to our community when it comes to those things?
Yeah. So when we first got licensed, we were licensed for basic, and actually, our son, my eldest son, he was specialized when they brought him to our attention, right?
Okay.
And he is amazing. While he's been here, and we adopted him. We were able to get that specialized level, all those behavioral problems down. Again, he is developmentally behind, and he he still loves to do stuff like everybody else. Like you should see him behind a puzzle. I mean, it's amazing watching his mind work as he's putting these pieces together. And again, the training that the children's shelter had given me was perfect. We were able to make it work right away. And actually, when he came to our home, it was the very beginning of COVID last year. So what the intent was going to be have him for spring break, and then slowly see how that relationship built, right? But spring break got obviously extended for that entire remainder of the year, and we kept them in our home since. And it's amazing.
Wow, that's great. And I'm sure these kids also do something for you, right? Like, you being the parent taking them in, and they probably, have really shaped and given you something as well, right?
Yes, I've learned so much going into all this. And again, originally when we came here to Texas, we got stationed here. I was going to do my full 20. I actually put in 13 years to the Marine Corps. But
Thank
after we
you.
got into this, we realized that the life that I want to give these children who've had an unstable background is something more stable. So instead of having them move all the time, I wanted to give them something different. So they changed my whole world to the point where my my military path had changed, and I love it. I
Uh,
wouldn't change it for the world.
that's great. Lishia, I'm sure that's something that you share in similarity, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really great. Well, Mr. Cunningham, I really appreciate you being on here and sharing your experience and just some of the information, since you've chosen to be part of our foster care program. And thank you for sharing some words of advice to the community as well. For those of you again who are out there, you can go to childrensshelter.org. We have our foster care tab on there. You can get more information. All inquiries go directly to Lishia, who is our foster care recruiter here at the Children's Shelter. And I'm kind of glad that my screen kind of had frozen and it was stuck on a different, I don't know if you guys saw the color change or the logo change. It was frozen the whole time, but that's okay. We're back to our proud yellow for our foster care program. So, Mr. Cunningham, Miss Lishia, as usual, it's always a pleasure having you, and thank you for your service in the community and for serving as well, Mr. Cunningham. Really appreciate that, and best of luck and continue that happy journey that you're on with these kiddos. And again, we really appreciate that. It's a set of great example for the community out there. And again, for those of you out there, please, anybody who is interested, or if you know anybody, family member, neighbor, friend, please have them inquire with Lishia. And again, she will direct you and guide you through the necessary process to get you started on becoming a therapeutic foster family here at the Children's Shelter. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon, and thank you guys again. Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Thank you, Lishia, as always.
Thank you, everybody, for having